Hey everyone, so I'm here just to give you a little bit more information about the infographic project that you are going to be working on. This is what I call a SNAP project, and basically that means that it's a project that's going to be done over a very short period of time. In your case, this project is going to be completed over a 2-day period, so it will be due at the end of class on Thursday. So let's take a look together at what your project guidelines are and some ideas of how to get you started. You have already been watching videos about invasive species and how they affect ecosystems, and so this is an extension of that understanding. So the purpose of this project is to create something that is informative and visually engaging, which serves to educate people on the dangers to an ecosystem that is posed by invasive species. Your teacher will have a list of invasive species for you to choose from for your project, and you'll be working in groups of 3 or possibly even 4 over the course of 2 days to research and create an infographic poster. And as I stated before, it is due at the end of class on Thursday, November the 5th. Some materials that you will need for this, you will need some research information, which you will be doing today in class. And tomorrow, to create your posters, you'll be given the construction paper for your infographic poster, but you will need to provide your own scissors, glue, paper, markers, things like that, extra materials above and beyond the piece of construction paper that you're going to be given. So your project requirements is you're going to choose an invasive species that you would like to focus on. And again, that is from a list you will choose from. And you are to include the following things on your infograph. Now let's stop for a second and take a look at what an infograph actually is. So here's some ideas that I just pulled off of Pinterest. So the idea of an infograph, for example, this one right here, is an infograph that talks about the global water crisis. And so notice that there is lots of data and statistics that support whatever the author is trying to say. Notice that they present it in different ways. They have a consistent color theme, but they talk about different situations and they discuss numbers, and they make the infograph fit their theme. So notice everything in this infograph looks like water because their theme is water. So this is a great example of what an infograph would look like. It's got lots of information, but most of it is done through charts and graphs. It catches people's attention. You want it to be visually appealing. Let's take a look at another one. So here's one that might interest more people. Cell phone etiquette around the world. And so notice they use graphics that represent different cultures and pictures, but notice they also, if you look closely, they use words as well. So it's not that you cannot use words in your infograph, but it's that it needs to be supported by some kind of visual representation, whether that's a chart, a graph, statistics, or just some sort of pictorial representation. So now that you have a better understanding of what an infograph is, let's continue looking at the requirements. On your infograph, you need to include one paragraph of writing that provides background information on the species that is invading the ecosystem and explain how that species ended up being in the ecosystem. Then you need to show an infographic of a food pyramid within invaded ecosystem and include where the invasive species would be in the food pyramid. Just a helpful hint, usually an invasive species would be somewhere around the top because invasive species by nature are overpopulated due to a lack of predators. So just keep that in mind, maybe research into that a little bit. Then you also need to create and include a graph or graphic that shows the population growth of the invasive species over time and list some some proposed solutions to the problem. This could be solutions that you have created or solutions that other people have already put out there, as long as you give the other people credit for their work. So in other words, don't take someone else's idea and claim it as your own. Cite your sources if you're going to quote someone else's research. All right, I hope you guys have a good time working on the project, and I hope that they go well. Can't wait to see them. Thanks. Have a great day, guys.